Dear students, let's start chapter number 10 of history, 18th century political formations. In this chapter, we'll study about the political circumstances and political arena in India during the 18th century. You know that in 16th century, especially in 1526, Mughal Empire was established in India by Babur, defeating Ibrahim Lodi in the first battle of Panipat. And then from the 16th century to the 19th century, mid 19th century, Mughal Empire was there in India before the British. But in the 18th century, Mughal Empire was started to be weakened, right? It means its declination was started in 18th century due to the emergence of the British. So in this chapter, we'll study about the political situations in India during 18th century. First of all, we have to look on these two maps. First of all, this map. You can see in this map, this is the map of subcontinent. In the first half of the 18th century, how the boundaries of the Mughal Empire were reshaped, the emergence of a number of independent kingdoms. Here you can see. This is the kingdom of Bengal. Here Awadh, Jats, Sikhs, and this is the area of Gujarat and Hyderabad, Marathas, Malwa. So these were the different areas which were becoming independent from the Mughal Empire. And this is the map of mid 18th century where the situations was slight changed due to the emergence of British. The Battle of Plassey was fought in 1757 and then in 1764 Battle of Buxar was fought, in which the united armies of Mughal Emperor Awadh Nawab and Bengal Nawab were defeated by the British in 1764. After that, according to the Allahabad Treaty in 1765, the British got Diwani rights. Clear? Diwani rights in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. So the situation was changed. Here you can see this area is completely annexed by the British, and after that the area of northern Sirkar also, the eastern coastal areas were protected or annexed, conquered by the British from the Mughal Empire. So in this way the situation was changed in the mid 18th century. Why this happened? Due to the weakness of the Mughal Empire. Why Mughal Empire became weak? The last Mughal emperor who was last powerful Mughal emperor Aurangzeb died in 1707. You have to remember. The next topic is the crisis of the Mughal Empire and later Mughals. Mughal Empire became weak in the 18th century, as we have discussed, because after the death of Aurangzeb, who was the last powerful Mughal emperor, he died in 1707. After his death, later Mughals were not so powerful, they could not control over the empire. So the crisis of the empire and later Mughals. Let's start in chapter 4. We studied how the Mughal Empire reached the height of its success and started facing a variety of crises towards the closing years of 17th century. These were caused by a number of factors. So many factors were there behind this, that one of the factor was that Emperor Aurangzeb had depleted the military and financial resources of his empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan. So two main factors were there. So decision of Aurangzeb and the policies of Aurangzeb were not so good in favor of Mughal Empire. Under his successors, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. It became increasingly difficult for the later Mughal emperors to keep a check on their powerful Mansabdars. Mansabdars gradually they became powerful, and nobles appointed as governors like Subedars often controlled the offices of revenue and military administration, means Diwani and Faujdari rights, both of the rights. This gave them extraordinary political, economic and military powers over vast regions of the Mughal Empire. So due to this power, they became independent Gradually, and as the governors consolidated their control over the provinces, the periodic remission of revenue to the capital declined. So, in this way, the central powers of Mughal Empire became weaker. Peasant and zamindari rebellions in many parts of northern and western India added to these problems. These revolts were sometimes caused by the pressures of mounting taxes. At other times, they were attempts by powerful chieftains to consolidate their own positions. Mughal authority had been challenged by rebellious groups in the past as well. So, due to these rebellions, Mughal Empire faced the challenges and it became weaker. The so many resources it wasted due to the rebellions. But these groups were now able to seize the economic resources of the region to consolidate their positions. The Mughal emperors, after Aurangzeb, were unable to arrest the gradual shifting of political and economic authority into the hands of provincial governors, local chieftains, and other groups. So now we are discussing about the causes of declination of Mughal Empire. Here we can see this description: rich harvest and empty coffers. The following is contemporary writers' account of the financial bankruptcy of the Mughal Empire. We can read here: the great lords are helpless. This is about Mughal emperors, great lords, and impoverished. Their peasants raise two crops a year, but their lords see nothing of either, and their agents on the spot are virtual prisoners in the peasant's hands, like a peasant kept in his creditor's house until he can pay his debt. So complete is the collapse of all order and administration that though the peasant reaps a harvest of gold, his lord does not see so much as a wisp of straw. How then can the lord keep the armed force he should? How can he pay the soldiers who should go before him when he goes out, or the horsemen who should ride behind him? So, in this way, with this extract, we can understand that due to some causes like peasants and farmers, their policies and their steps taken by them, the condition of Mughal emperors became very weak. In the midst of this economic and political crisis, the ruler of Iran, Nadir Shah, he attacked India in 1739, attacked Delhi, and took away immense amounts of wealth. This invasion was followed by a series of plundering raids by the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali, who invaded North India 5 times between 1748 and 1761 when Third Battle of Panipat was fought between Ahmad Shah Abdali and Marathas. Nadir Shah attacks Delhi. You can see this picture. This is the picture of Nadir Shah portrait. The devastation of Delhi after Nadir Shah's invasion was described by contemporary observers. One described the wealth looted from the Mughal treasury as follows: 60 lakhs of rupees and some thousand gold coins, nearly 1 crore worth of gold ware, nearly 50 crore worth of jewels, most of them unrivaled in the world, and the above included the peacock throne also. Right? Another account described the invasion's impact upon Delhi. Those who had been masters were now in dire straits. This is about Mughal Empire. And those who had been revered couldn't even get water to quench their thirst. The recluses were pulled out of their corners. The wealthy were turned into beggars. Those who once set the style in clothes now went naked, and those who owned property were now homeless. The new city, Shahjahanabad, was turned into rubble. Means Nadir Shah then attacked the old quarters of the city and destroyed a whole world that existed there. So this is the description after the invasion of Nadir Shah. Already under severe pressure from all sides, the empire was further weakened by competition amongst different groups of nobles. They were divided into two major groups or factions. First, Iranis and second, Turanis, nobles of Turkish descent. For a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hands of either one or the other of these two powerful groups. The worst possible humiliation came when two Mughal emperors, Farrukhsiyar in 1713 to 1719, he ruled, and Alamgir II, 1754 to 59, were assassinated, and two others, Ahmad Shah and Shah Alam II, were blinded by their nobles. So, in this way, Mughal emperors lost their powers and Mughal empire became very weak due to these kinds of causes. The next topic is emergence of new states. Due to the causes we have discussed here, Mughal empire became weak and new states were emerged. Through the 18th century, the Mughal Empire gradually fragmented into a number of independent regional states, broadly speaking, the states of 18th century can be divided into three overlapping groups. So these groups, in the first group, states that were old Mughal provinces like Awadh, Bengal and Hyderabad. Although extremely powerful and quite independent, the rulers of these states did not break their formal ties with the Mughal emperor. So these were the first group states. Second, states that had enjoyed considerable independence under the Mughals as Watan Jagirs. These included several Rajput principalities. Third states were the last group, included states under the control of Marathas, Sikhs and others like Jats. These were of differing sizes and had seized their independence from the Mughals. So these were completely independent states. After a long drawn armed struggle, they became free from Mughal empire. So these were three kinds of states. We discussed about them and I hope that you are understanding the topic. So dear students, in the next video we'll discuss the rest of the topics of this chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day.